Bless you.
Jinx.
What's wrong with him?
Goose down. He's allergic.
I'm sorry, under the time-honored rules of Jinx, you're not allowed to speak until I release you.
Bless you. Reverse double jinx.
I couldn't...
Castle. Mouth shut until I release you.
Is it a suicide?
It's not a
suicide.
Sue is Fletcher's partner.
It's the undercover lover con. Sue is the scout. She gets close to Elise first, learns everything there is to know, paving the way for Fletcher.
Who comes in with a playbook of all of Elise's hopes and dreams, and voila, it's love at first sight.
No, something doesn't quite track. Why would they fake Fletcher's death in such a public way? They had to know the police were going to get involved, exposing their con to a lot of dangerous scrutiny.
Unless Fletcher really is dead. If her dad is right and Fletcher really fell in love with Elise...
And was going to give up his con man ways.
Then Sue stood to lose a fortune by not finishing the con. And if Fletcher married Elise, then Sue had no chance of pulling off the con on her own.
So Sue takes matters into her own hands. She kills Fletcher, shooting him in the face, making sure positive ID is impossible.
Bingo.
But what about the phone call from Stephen?
Well, she must have faked it somehow.
Why?
Because the con is still on.
Are we interrupting something?
No.
Yes.
Are you two together?
Not
Absolutely
yet.
not.
She's
a
a taxidermist.
So cute the way you two do that.
I think I know who the killer is. Okay, so maybe Gloria was telling us the truth. Maybe Sarah was having an affair.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Sarah was separated from her husband, Vince. After long, grueling days at work, she'd go home to a cold, empty apartment. Feeling lonely, betrayed, she seeks comfort in the arms of this mystery man.
And she decides that she wants her husband back, so she writes his mistress, Mandy Bronson, off the show in order to save their marriage.
And her next step would be to get rid of the other man.
So maybe the other man didn't go off quietly into the night.
Do you two practice this when we're not around?
So Lester wasn't doing the procedures on someone else was doing them to him.
And he decided to put his money where his mouth was, using himself as a test subject.
But then who was doing the procedures on him?
And how did it even get him killed?
Can I just...
Maybe the treatment was a success. Hamilton realized he was on the cusp of a revolutionary life extension breakthrough.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Guys! Hold up. Stop doing that thing you do for 1 second. Thank you. Now, all of the theorizing is cute, as usual, but we've got a problem.
How so?
The Ambrosia Project implant is supposed to be in the patient's arm. I checked his arms. In fact, I checked every inch of Hamilton's body. There were no intrusions or wounds anywhere.
I don't understand. I thought you said the needles had his DNA.
They do. And his brain matter, too.
So whatever they were doing to his head?
Which is the only part of Hamilton's body that you haven't checked yet.
Get me his head, and I can tell you what this is all about.
What was so special about our victim that our killer wanted to erase his identity? Don't say spy. Or mob hit.
Mob hit of a spy? Maybe a wild night on the town brings Odette to the strip club where she sees Barbara, all of Barbara. And she realizes, with a little work, Barbara could be the perfect double for her, doing all the unpleasant jobs that Odette simply couldn't be bothered to do. Community service hours, drug tests.
And with a little training and some surgical tweaks, Barbara could do even more, like meetings with Odette's business manager or boring luncheons with her Aunt Margaret.
Nobody in Odette's inner circle could have known about the ruse, so that when the train crashed, Barbara saw her chance to go from understudy to leading lady, and she took it.
Okay, so that explains the transition, but we still don't know who killed her.
Maybe we do. It would have to be someone that knew Odette was actually Barbara when he saw her on TV. Someone who was looking to cash in on her new life.
Someone like Barbara's boyfriend, Jason.
Well, it's all about New York now. The boys can take it from here, and we can pick up right where we left off before this whole thing came to us.
Yeah, but why did it come to us?
The universe has a sense of humor, I suppose.
No, I mean, if this is about meth, then why wasn't he killed in New York?
Maybe the killer likes the beach.
No, I think there's got to be more to it, Castle. I mean, they knew about Lerner's boat.
You know what? I'm sure the boys will figure it out.
And that requires an intimate knowledge about Franklin's life. That's local knowledge.
Right. Well, maybe the killer just did his homework.
Yeah, but why would they go to all of that trouble? I mean, if he was a kingpin in New York City, why would they kill him out here?
Unless part of the drug business was out here.
That explains the helicopter. He needed the helicopter to transfer the drugs out here.
And why he slept with Natalia and greased palms?
He needed an approval to get the helipad.
Yes, much less risky to move your product in a helicopter rather than boat or car. No cop is going to pull you over.
You know, Chief Brady said that the drug problem has doubled over the past 6 months.
Exactly. When Franklin started using his helicopter.
Castle, but I think you should probably...
Call her in, Esposito.
Yeah.
And Armstrong's daughter changed her name to her mom's maiden to get away from all the notoriety.
Only Bo found out who she really was.
So Bo lures her into a tawdry encounter, films it, and then uses the video to blackmail her.
And if she didn't agree to get her father off of his back, Bo was going to show the tape.
Candace knows that if that tape got out, it would ruin her life. It would embarrass her whole family. Bo uses the video to push her into a corner. She has no choice but to push back. She's our killer. Computer science major, hours on her laptop.
She's a hacker, which is why she was staying at the Cedric. She could pay in cash and remain anonymous while she was using the IP address.
Exactly. And whatever she was hacking into was either so legal or so dangerous, she had to make sure they couldn't trace it back to her. And even if they did trace it back to her, they'd still have to find her amongst hundreds of residents.
So she created a whole false persona. And who's gonna look twice at a runaway hooker? I mean, she's like the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Only they did find her, which is why we can't find her laptop. Whoever she went up against killed her and took it.
Wait, do you guys remember the footage from the elevator?
Yes. She went down to the laundry room first.
And Lainey said that she found traces of creosote under her fingernails from the boiler room next door. The
laptop's in the basement.